Hello dear students, myself Dr. Sachin Gurure, Assistant Professor from Department of Zoology, KTHM College, Nasik. So first of all, I wish to welcome all of you at the SYBSc, that is second year of your graduation. So myself is dealing with the subject that is EVS 231 environmental awareness, which is the ability enhancements compulsory course. Now in this video we are going to discuss about the subject, that is introduction of the subject and the syllabus which will be taught in this whole year for this environmental awareness. So first of all, the at the SYBSc you are in a semester third, and there is a choice based credit system pattern is implemented from academic year 2020-21 for the SYBS, under which there is one course which can be labeled as AECC for ability enhancements compulsory course, and one of the course is EVS 231 environmental awareness, which is a compulsory subject, and there are 3 lectures allotted per week. So I'm dealing with the division C of SYBSc for this subject. So if you see the course detail, the paper is AECC, course code and the subject name is EVS 231 environmental awareness. This is for 2 credits. There are total 30 lectures are allotted to this syllabus, or the whole syllabus of the subject, and as usual like that of the other courses, it has a marking pattern, that is 15 plus 35 is equal to 50, means 15 marks is for the internal and 35 marks for the external examination, and there are total 50 marks. This is for 2 credit. Now, as far as the evaluation is concerned, the evaluation for the internal assessment can be done using a different kinds of the tools. For example, the unit test will be conducted, assignment will be given on that subject, then there is a oral examination, then you have to perform a small project on the various burning issues of environment, and most important, the attendance is also important for all the lectures. So using these tools, we are going to assess you for the internal examination, that is for the 15 marks. And then after, at the end of this semester, a theory examination of 35 marks will be conducted, so that you can have a total marks or weightage of 50 marks for this subject, and these marks can be converted into the different grades, that is O, A, B, C and D. So keep remember, this is a compulsory course. Then if you see the objective of this course, that is environmental awareness, the first objective is to understand the fundamental concepts of environment and its importance. The second objective is to understand the principle of sustainable development and its importance in environment. The third objective is to understand importance of natural resources and the wildlife in our surrounding. The next one is to understand methods of wildlife conservation. And the fifth objective is to understand the effect of global issues like population explosion, depleting natural resources, environmental pollution and their associated diseases, and changes in the socio-economic status of the human being worldwide. So these are the objectives actually, which is set for this ability enhancement compulsory course, that is environmental awareness. And the learning outcomes should be, the student will able to understand the importance of healthy environment in our life. The second outcome will be, the student will able to understand the complexity of environment, how the organisms and living and non-living things, they are interacting with one another for a life sustaining processes, which is obviously very complex mechanism. So that complex mechanism we have to understand, or you can able to understand after learning this course. And the third outcome is student will achieve the awareness about the environment and related burning global issues. Now this is very important. Now this subject is incorporated in all disciplines from engineering, medical, all sorts of graduation. This is just to make aware the students and the future society or netizens of this country about the environment. What is the importance of the clean environment? What is the importance of the resources we are getting from our nature and how it can be used? How to overcome the problems which are created by the human activity. So this is actually the most important aim and learning outcome for this subject, that is environmental awareness. Now, as far as the syllabus is concerned, there are total 8 chapters which will be taught for whole year, of which 4 chapters will be taught in the first semester and next 4 chapters will be taught in the second semester or the fourth semester actually. Okay. So there are 6 chapters. The first one is the environmental studies, a multidisciplinary subject. There are 2 lectures are allotted to this topic. Then natural resources is there, 8 lectures. Ecosystem is the third chapter. This is for 6 lecture, and biodiversity and its conservation for the 8 lectures. So these 4 chapters we are going to learn in this semester. So let's take a quick summary of the chapter and their content. So your syllabus, we start with the chapter number 1, and the title of the chapter is Environmental Studies, a Multidisciplinary Subject. So in which we are going to learn the definition, scope and importance of environmental studies. And we are going to discuss how this environmental studies or environmental science has link with the other disciplines or other subjects. And we are going to discuss a multidisciplinary approach of this subject with the other fields. And second point, the need of public awareness for the subject known as environmental studies. Because most of the time the students take this subject very casually, because most of the content of this subject you have learned from the childhood. But why it is incorporated in this age at SYBSc? This is just for making a people's aware about the environment and their health hazard. If the environment is get polluted or it is get disturbed by the activity of human being, what are the consequences? And to avoid that consequences, the awareness is very important, and hence we are going to discuss the need of public awareness for this subject, that is environmental studies. So this is a first chapter. Then second chapter is about the natural resources. Now obviously the nature gives a many things to the human being as well as the other organism, and whatever things which are in the form of living things or non-living things that we are getting from the nature are referred as the natural resources, that we are going to discuss in the chapter second. The subpoints are renewable and non-renewable resources. I think you might have known about these 2 concepts, renewable and non-renewable. Then we are going to learn the particular resources, for example, the forest resources, water resources, mineral resources, food resources, energy resources, and land resources. So all these are the very important resources which is available in our nature, and these resources has a great importance in our day-to-day life. And after that, in the last one, we are going to learn the role of individual in a conservation of natural resources. Each and every individual can able to contribute to the conservation of natural resources at their own level, and hence it is very important to discuss what exactly the role of the individual person for the conservation of these resources. Now there are total 8 lectures are allotted to this chapter, natural resources. Then the third chapter is the ecosystem. The ecosystem is a kind of the system which is available in our surrounding, in which there is an interaction between the living and non-living things, and due to this interaction the life is only possible on the planet Earth. So what exactly the ecosystem is, that concept we are going to learn in the topic. Then we have to discuss the structure and function of ecosystem. Then what are exactly the components of the ecosystem? Components are grossly divided into the 3 categories, that is producers, consumers and decomposers, that we are going to discuss. Then most important part, that is energy flow in ecosystem. How the energy from one trophic level to the next trophic level is get followed, that we are going to discuss in this energy flow ecosystem. Then ecological succession. Now what happens due to the some natural disasters or maybe due to the man-made activity? The native plants and the animals which is living into the particular area, they are suddenly get vanished, and their position can be taken by the non-native or so-called as a exotic or exotic species. That is referred as ecological succession. Is a very interesting part that we are going to learn in this topic. And next, a very simple topic, that is food chains, food webs and ecological pyramids. I think some of the topics you have already learned from this title. Then the last point is introduction, type, characteristic features, structure and functions of the major ecosystem. We are going to discuss a 4 major ecosystem, that is forest ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, desert ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. So there are 6 lectures are allotted to this chapter also. So this is about the summary for chapter 3rd, that is ecosystem. The chapter number 4th is the biodiversity and its conservation. So whatever living things, which includes plants, animal and microbes, which are present in our surrounding, are referred as, or their diversity is referred as a biodiversity. So we are going to learn what is genetic diversity, what is species diversity, what is ecosystem diversity. The second point is biogeographic classification of India. So how animals and plants are classified according to their biogeography under the Indian territory, that we are going to discuss. Then most important, that is value for biodiversity, their consumptive use, productive use, social and ethical value of biodiversity. Then biodiversity at global, national and local level. Then we are going to discuss India as a mega diverse nation, because one of the biodiversity hotspot is located in India, is a Western Ghat. Actually there are 2 hotspots are there. Then hotspots of biodiversity, threats to the biodiversity due to the habitat loss, poaching of wildlife and man-wildlife conflicts. So obviously there are conflicts among some wild animals. For example, the common conflict we can found in between the leopards and human being, elephants and human being, or rhino and human being, which are the very common conflicts we are aware of from our country. Then the next topic is endangered and endemic species of India, conservation of biodiversity, in situ conservation and ex situ conservation. So these are the content for the chapter number 4, that is biodiversity and its conservation. There are total 8 lectures allotted to this chapter also. So up to the chapter 4 we are going to learn in the first semester. Then for the next semester, chapter number 5 is their environmental pollution, with the point, the causes of pollution, effect of pollution, control measures of air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, marine pollution, noise pollution, thermal pollution and the nuclear hazards. Then after we are going to discuss the solid waste management. What are the causes, their effects, control measures of urban and industrial waste. So actually the management of the waste is a major problem in the Asian countries, including India. So how to manage this solid waste? What are the consequences or the causes that we are going to learn in this topic? Then role of individual in prevention of pollution. How we can able to prevent the pollution at individual level. Then we are going to discuss some case studies for that pollution. And in the last point, that is disaster management, which include floods, earthquakes, cyclones, and the landslides. Now, there are total 8 lectures allotted to this chapter, that is environmental pollution. Then the next chapter, that is chapter number 6, social issues and the environment. The sub points are the from unsustainable to the sustainable development. Now, sustainable development is very important, means whatever resources which are available nowadays, that should be used in such a way that these resources should available to the next generation also. Such a kind of the use is referred as a sustainable use. And we are going to learn from unsustainable use to sustainable, how we can use resources effectively or sustainably. Then second point is urban problems related to the energy, water conservation, rainwater harvesting, and watershed management. This is just to overcome the problem or scarcity of the usable water or drinking water. Then resettlement and rehabilitation of the people, its problem and concern. Then environmental ethics, their issues and possible solutions. The next point is climate change, global warming, acid rain, ozone layer depletion, then nuclear accidents and Holocaust. And we are going to discuss some case studies also on all these different kinds of the issues. And the last point, we are going to learn the Environmental Protection Act. So what are the act which is enforced by our government for the protection of our environment and their resources? That is Air Act, Water Act, and Wildlife Protection Act we are going to discuss, and there are total 7 lectures allotted to this chapter. Then next chapter is human population and the environment. Here we are going to discuss the population growth, variation among the nation, population explosion, family welfare program, then environment and human health, human rights, value education, then major problem of HIV or AIDS, women and child welfare, role of information technology in environment and human health. So this is somewhat very important, which is one of the burning issue of the environment that we are going to learn in this chapter, and there are total 6 lectures allotted. The last chapter, that is a field work, where in which we are going to visit some local areas to document some environmental assets, for example river, forest, grassland, hills or mountain. And we are going to visit the local polluted site, that is urban site or maybe the industrial site, then study of common plants and insects and birds which can be done into the agricultural fields and in the forest, and the study of simple ecosystem like pond ecosystem, river, hill, slopes. So all these topics, they are covered in our field work. So this is overall syllabus for this ability enhancement compulsory course, that is environmental awareness. As far as the books are concerned, I recommend you to use only these 2 books, that is Perspective in Environmental Studies, 6th edition. The author are Anup Kaushik and CP Kaushik, which is given by a New Age International Publishers. Now this book is available in our library also, and you can purchase it online also. And the second book is the textbook for environmental studies. This is by the Ehrlich Bahrucha, and this book is coming from the University Grant Commission. Now this book is available in a PDF in the free form on internet, so you can download this book also, or I will share the PDF of this book on your Google Classroom. So you have to use only these two books for studying the environmental awareness. So this is about the today's video, in which we have introduced towards the subject, that is environmental awareness, and we have discussed the syllabus and what are the books necessary to learn this subject. Thank you very much.